good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to you with a quick video about the Indiana Pacers. And this is a what to expect. This is a team that lost their best player, Paul George, in a trade with OKC. They get back Sabonis, his son, and Victor Oladipo, a guy that's been traded for Orlando to OKC. At least he's going to be in the league for a while because they signed him to an extension. We thinking, like, oh my God, Victor Oladipo, he might be a part of OKC future because they gave him a extension. Next thing you know, in the off season of this year, he's already traded. Victor Oladipo was a guy that we had high hopes for. He has the athletic ability. He has improved his shooting and his three-point shooting to where it's respectable. He can create a shot off the dribble. Sometimes he can kick to the corner. Sometimes he can get to the paint. He's not the best finisher. He's not the crazy finisher. He is athletic. He can finish above the rim. And he can get out in transition, get quick layups and dunks because of speed and acceleration. But the guy has been a disappointment. They let go of Monte Ellis. They re-get Lance Stephenson. So now I'm going to be wondering, like, what type of lineups is they going to throw out? Because they have Darren Collison. They actually traded for Cory Joseph. And they already got back Lance Stephenson. So they have the point guard in the guard position filled. Then they trade for Victor Oladipo, who's another another combo guard. And he's going to want his minutes. And on top of that, you're paying him $21 million, so he better get some minutes. But like I said, they brought back Lance, who's a little better defender, and damn near he's an inch taller, and he's a guy that can bring a lot of effort and energy and excitement to the arena. I'm not saying he's a superstar. I'm not saying he's a guy that's gonna fill up all the seats. But Lance Stephenson can put on a show, and he can have fun out there and get the fans involved. You have Myles Turner. He's 21. He's a 6'11", 21-year-old. He's the future of this team. His ability to dominate in the pick and pop, pick and roll to the basket, get dunks, get layups, get the elbow jumpers, knock down free throws, block and contest shots. He can be a magnificent defender because he has an athletic ability in the size and the length, arms wise, to cover and clear and defend the paint. So I like Myles Turner. He's a guy with loads of potential. I felt last year if Myles Turner would have played into I'm not saying because he's only 21, but if he would have dominated a little bit better and been a little bit more consistent, even though he wasn't terrible last year, he was good. But if he was great, Indiana probably could have been a top 4, top 5 seed, maybe even 3. Because they barely made the playoffs. They was able to get above 500. But the thing about it is Myles Turner had a decent at best season. And that he has a better... He's only going to get better from here on out. The more he played, the more film he watch, and the more practice he put in, Myles Turner is going to be a star to me, especially since the East got weaker and there's more all-star places. You got more chances of making an all-star team because a lot of the players left. And I can see Myles Turner being one of those guys that pick up one of those spots in the future. If it's not this season, then seasons to come. And on top of that, he's a solid rebounder. He could be better, but with Paul George leaving, he might get an extra 3-4 rebounds because of that. And the fact that they're going to play a lot of pick and roll, he might get a lot of tip-ins, or he's just going to have to try harder to crash the boards. But he's a solid player. He's a good all-around player on top of that. Plus, he can post up and knock down that fadeaway jumper or just bang a little bit and throw it off the backboard. You also have the Cory Joseph, Darren Collison thing. I was a little surprised that they ended up picking up Darren Collison, and at the same time, they traded for Cory Joseph. I'm a fan of Cory Joseph. He's an NBA champion. He's a guy that's a professional. He's going to come in and do his job. He's going to run the offense. He's not going to get you 10 assists. He's not going to get you 20 to 30 points, but he's going to give you hard-nosed defense. He's going to give you activity. He's going to give you his all. And on top of that, he's a guy that can play within the system. He's not a shot creator. He's not a guy that's going to ball down the offense. He's going to keep the ball moving. He's going to shoot shots when he has to shoot. He's going to shoot the 3 when he's open. And he's just going to bring down the ball and run plays. That's a floor general. And he's still young. He still has a chance to probably be a starter on his team, depending on who they want to start, and he's a guy that can play the backup or the starting point guard because I liked him in Toronto starting when Kyle Lowry went out. And Cory Joseph, he's a solid player. And that's what you want on your roster, a guy that doesn't need the ball to be effective and can still make an imprint on the team whether you got the ball or not. Derek Collison is a guy that does need the ball. He likes to attack. He likes to look. He looks more for scoring, and he's a guy with a little ego. He felt like he was a starter a couple years later. Obviously, sometimes he started, sometimes he came off the bench throughout his career. But he's a solid point guard, more of a backup to me. And you can't really ask for much from him. You paying him $10 million, so he should be the starter. But I like Cory Joseph over Darren Collison if I had to pick. But they is paying Darren Collison $10 million, and Cory Joseph is 6'3", 190, and Darren Collison is 6 feet, 175. He's a smaller point guard because all the point guards are 6'3", 6'5". I mean 6'3", 6'4", or higher. Bojan Bogdanovic, I'm a fan of him. He's a guy that can snipe the three ball in the corner and on top at the top of the key. He's a guy that can put the ball on the floor, get out in transition, grab a couple rebounds, knock down a couple free throws, and he's a guy that if you pass him the ball, you got confidence that he can make the shot, and sometimes he can create his own shot. But the best part about it is he's able to knock down that corner and spot up three when he's kicking the ball out with Victor Oladipo or Lance Stephenson. They both like to drive a lot, and they both like to kick out, and you would like a person like Bojan on the opposite end of that court, knocking down a three or standing in that corner or at the top of the key because you know he can knock down the three ball. Lavoy Allen is a guy that can just play pick and roll, pop the elbow jumper if they don't guard him, or you have to bail out. You can always pass to Lavoy Allen. He'll knock down the elbow jumper. So he's not going to really have a huge part of the offense, but he's a guy that's just going to knock down shots. Glenn Robertson is a guy that can come off the bench and give you buckets, and you need like a 6th, 7th, 8th man, especially in the playoffs if they make it, to come off the bench and give you a spark and actually just put the ball in the basket when you can't do it or you have a little slump. He's a guy that can give you a lot of effort and energy off that bench and put the ball in the basket. Sabonis, we don't really know what he's going to be. They try to make him a stretch four in OKC. He showed that he can post up a little bit. He showed that he can shoot a little bit. I'm kind of curious how they're going to use Sabonis in this offense. He can play the 4 if you put Myles Turner at the 5. He can also do that. And remember, they still have Al Jefferson, who's the guy that can come off the bench and probably become a 6th Man of the Year candidate because his ability to post up, get to the free throw line, and hit them hook shots and that off-balance go-to move of his little flip shot. So Al Jefferson still got a lot left in the tank, and they're not going to really ask him to do that much. So I like this roster. I like what they are doing. This team might not make the playoffs just because they have to rebuild that chemistry. They have to find out the lineups they want to play, how they're going to play them, what lineups work, what teammates work best together, who going to close out the games, who's going to be the starting point guard, who's going to be the starting shooting guard, who's going to be our 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th man off the bench. This team can go 10 deep with Lavoy, with Lance Stephenson, with Cory Joseph or Darren Collison, and then you still got Al Jefferson, and you still got Glenn Robertson. So this roster can go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deep if they really need to. And this is a team that can package young players together in draft picks to get another star. Paul George maybe wanted out. Maybe they felt like they couldn't keep him after this year, which a lot of people thought anyway. But now they do have the youth, they have the picks, and they have the talent in the veterans that they can move around and trade around to get salary cap relief or trade for a superstar player that's young and up and coming, and they can build around them and Myles Turner, around that person and Myles Turner. So I don't really know if this team can make the playoffs. I can see them winning from 32 to 38 games. If they get off to a hot start, they probably could win about 40. That's giving a little bit too much, but the East is weaker. I got to continue to say that. So you're going to have a lot of empty spots after the Raptors, Wizards, Cavs, Boston, and the Bucks. After that, you still got 6th, 7th, and 8th spot easy Anybody can get those spots depending on the injuries, depending on the trade deadline. Anybody can fill out the rest of those spots in the East. But let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. All you gotta do is click the link and send you to my website. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. All you gotta do is click the link and send you to my Facebook page. And all I'm asking you guys to do is like and to show support. Support analysisplayground.com. Support me, Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, signing out. And let me know what you want to see next. I got the most improved player, the MVP, all the most underrated players, the most overrated players. I'm going to have all that before the season start. Let's continue to talk about the season before it's here, and let's enjoy it.